Welcome. Why did I move in with my partner? Well, I had lived in the same house for 30 years. And during COVID, I made a real effort. It was a real priority for me to pay off my mortgage. And also, during COVID, I decided that it was time for me to start changing the way I lived my life every day. Just always so busy all the time, and I felt like my priorities were changing a great deal, and the level of my authenticity and my spirituality were getting much larger than they once were. I guess that's the right way to describe it. I don't know. It's interesting. It's almost just like the evolution of me, like my own development. That's where I was in my development. And generally, I don't know what is a conventional person, but I'm not a very conventional person. Uh, I do things that work for me, not necessarily what might be the societal norm. And I felt like I was ready to downsize. My house that I moved from was not huge, but it was too big for me, just me. So I was thinking of building a small house, like 650 square feet. And I was looking for land, and I was working with different modular home companies. And I even talked with my favorite contractor to see if he might be willing to build a house for me. And he is such a wonderful human being that he said, yeah, we could talk about it. So having someone that I could trust to do the projects in my house was so enormous. And I am forever grateful to that contractor. I couldn't find what I was looking for. I couldn't find land that was small enough. And I kept being told that the modular home was really going to cost, or even building a home was going to cost 3 times more than I thought it was going to cost. So, with all those things together and me just itching to retire, just I was in a place with my mental health, and I feel like I was in really good mental health, but I think I was getting messages that it was time for a change. And if I didn't make that change and listen to the messages, I was going to be very unhappy. And so I talked to my partner and said, is there any possibility that I could maybe stay with you for a little while until I find something? And because he's got a 4-bedroom house. And so he thought about it and we talked about it. And at first it was just going to be for a short time until I found something else. And then I moved in. I moved in a year ago, a little over a year ago, like 13 months ago. And what's happened is that because of our compatibility and because of our stages in life, it just works. So it works really, really well because I think we are companionship for each other, but we're both very independent. Financially, it works out very well for me because I would be paying a lot more for housing if I didn't live here. And I think for my partner, there are some benefits. I think that he's so independent that he could be fine on his own, really, as could I. But I think that we work it out well where I have my own space. Like I have my office and we recognize that it's his house, and so there's a lot of peace in that because there's no confusion when it comes down to making decisions about certain things. He will often ask me my opinion, but ultimately he's the one paying for it, so he gets to decide. And if anything ever happens that I don't feel comfortable with, I can go elsewhere. But at this point, I've got to say that I have never been happier, and it's working out really well. I guess that's about it. If I didn't cover anything and you have a question, please ask. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Sending you love. Take care.